Yeah, it's going down, man. It's Donnie Houston Podcast. I'm Donnie Houston. Check it out, man. We got two special guests today. And, man, when we talking about legendary, you know what I'm saying, H-time, man, hip-hop, man, we talking about real legends, man. We talking about the Botany Boyz, man. I got C-Note and D-Red. What's going down, man?
What's
Dirty
up?
Red, what's
What it
the deal?
do? What it do?
Man, where Lean at, man?
Oh man, he around. He couldn't make it today, but he around. Maybe next time.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what's new with
sure.
y'all boys, man?
Oh man, that's a bunch of cooling. Come show you some love on Donnie Houston Podcast, man. That's about it. It's all good.
Man, about you, man, doing it big. Got to come patronize and support, man.
Man, nah, I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, what y'all got some music? What some business ventures? What's been going on with y'all, man?
Right now, me personally, I've been just kind of in the cut, laying low, but I got a few tracks that I recorded, and I actually want to release them this year, but this year kind of, it's kind of wicked. But I like the 2020 vibe about it, so I definitely want to drop something. But maybe before the year, I'll be able to get something. I don't know, maybe an EP or something, because I got a few songs recorded, but not a whole album yet.
Yeah.
Same here, man. Like I say, we just been sitting back, peeping the scene. Like I said, there's been a bunch of stuff going on, and now, what I'm saying, like we've been sitting on a bunch of music for years that probably just need to be out just on catalog purpose. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely come 21. You're gonna hear a lot about the Botany Boyz and our record labels and the venues we got. We got clubs and restaurants, and we still working on movies and a lot of little just entrepreneur type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not just about this music, man. We trying to make them kids eat, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep it pushing.
Grown man shit for sure.
For sure. So, man, I mean, I always tell people, man, when people ask me about, like, man, I want to hear some Houston, man, but not like something that, that's always on the radio or something, like some real Houston. What give me something. I say, man, you got to listen to the Botany Boyz.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I always say it's always where I start at. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Y'all like, and what I'm learning, like, y'all boys really, as far as age, y'all not that old, but just as far as just being around, y'all just been around. It's just
Been
really on
around.
some real OG, you know what I mean, from a long time, man. So just talk about just coming up, man, all y'all just, in Cloverland like that.
Man, we like you say, we've been around a while, but we started so young. You know what I mean? We was kids when we started just doing our thing like that. And, probably met Screw around I probably was like 17, 18 years old when I first met Screw. We dropped our first album. I was 21, you know what I mean? So we was young gunners out there, man.
Yeah.
We was young gunners. But, as far as Cloverland and all that, we definitely go way back since kids with that, you know what I mean? So
It's deep.
you know what I mean? So D-Red, like the OG of the hood in Clover. So, I always looked up to him growing
So
up.
Dirty Red, you was always, you older than everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
he's
like
OG
we was like, we still was family at the same time, man, but it was all about getting that bread, chasing that bag at our young age at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Because people don't understand, man, it's bigger than this music. Because honestly, man, we always been out doing our own thing, getting that bag together. We gonna come and meet up and talk about getting another bag, you know what I'm saying? But as far as that music, it was like, what really triggered it, man, it was me and Note, you know what I'm saying? We was in there, I seen it, we was always talking about it, and the niggas was always rapping. I was doing this thing, making music and doing beats and shit.
Like what years? This is the 90s or this is like
it's early, it might have been 80s.
Shit, we can take, we can take it back. We started, me myself, started rapping at Screwhouse probably like in 92. You know what I mean? I started rapping at Screwhouse in 92. But as far as the music side, D-Red, he had this thing going with, he was producing with a group called Coppertone out of Houston early, him and Poopy them. They had Coppertone going, them boys was hot and producing stuff. And
they was all from Cloverland too?
Nah, Coppertone, I don't know, where was Coppertone from? They from Houston,
They
I
from
know
Houston.
that.
They
but-
from the other side of town. Like, I think the early A-League part, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Before you had
Probably
like
so,
that way,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Probably so. I just know I love their music. It was,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
POP, pop.
I was fucking with it real tough. And my thing was, when I first jumped in the game and we freestyling on Screw and all that, I never did really know how you make beats and create beats. You know what I mean? I always thought in my head, it was live drums and live instruments. You know what I mean? I never did know. And and around that time at Screwhouse, we was hanging with a few rappers like Cats 3-2, Big Mello them, right? And one day I was with Big Mello, and we go to Harvey Love House, and Big Mello made a beat in 5 minutes right there on the EPS. Wasn't that EPS back then? Them EPS keyboard, and it blew my mind because I'm like, man, this how they make beats. Damn, you know what I mean? I'm talking about in 5 minutes. Big Mello was talented, you know what I mean? So he made the beat in 5 minutes, like while we was waiting on Harvey Love to come back to the room or something. So I say, damn, that's how you do it. So shit, the next day I went and bought a keyboard for like $3,000 something from Drum and Keyboard, an old music store we had down here. And I ain't know how to work it or nothing. I just went and bought it because I knew that's
This
what
what you
needed.
need.
Yeah, to get in the game. And a friend of mine, RP D-Baby, D-Baby, he used to hang around D-Red's sister, Kimmy Cole, a lot, and he was around D-Red house a lot. So he knew, he was like, man, you need to get Dirty Red to come make some beats, you know what I mean? So I reached out to him because I knew he was doing it, and you know, definitely our first beat he made was Smoking and Leaning in my living room.
Man.
Remember Sandpiper? I had a little townhouse for Sandpiper.
Yeah.
Right there in my living room, he made Smoking and Leaning, the first song we ever made.
But see, before all this though, because I had just interviewed SPM and he said he was seeing, he ain't say who it was, but he said one of y'all had a brown Benz or something. And y'all was a kid, one of y'all was like, man, and that's how he got into like hustling and all that. He was like, man, he saw the Botany Boyz.
Yeah, well, the story SPM, he probably talking about when he saw me, I was like, what, 15, 16 in election, my first foreign, you know what I mean? I had a slab first, you know. I had a slab first.
Wait. We skipping way too much.
Yeah.
We skipping way too much, man.
Shit.
Slow down.
SPM, you know, he said that he saw me as a youngster rolling, but my remember of SPM is he was the only Mexican on the block. We had $1 million block and I first started like hustling when I was 14 years old, you know what I mean? I was started off young, so I'm 14. On the $1 million block, and SPM was the only Mexican out there.
What year is this when
you
you 14? Like around
14,
what year is this?
this way back in '88.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I caught my first and only drug case in '88. You know what I mean? 14 years old.
How early did you start hustling though?
13, 14, really somewhere in there. You know what I mean? Like
Our hood, man.
And D-Red was like, I was always looking up to him because D-Red was pretty much, you know what I mean? I can say it now because it's like
It's all over.
20, 30 years ago. D-Red was a kingpin, you know what I mean? In my eye, when I would see him, I would say he looked like Ice-T or something because he coming through the hood and the Beamers and he got the slabs with the swangers and
them little rings and shit.
Man.
This dude here, man, but that nigga, Cody, man, that nigga wasn't trying to hit that. He jumped on the bag. He trying to get that bag, man.
Yeah, so I was looking up really, what I was doing, I was looking up to them. And there was one more cat in the hood, little Andy, he was doing it young too. And that kind of, you know, my uncles and all them, they was kingpins and shit. So when I saw little Andy, he was way younger than my uncle them, and he was having just as much, you know what I mean, Jaguars and stuff like that, and you know, and slabs, and at a young age. So I was like, hey, I'm finna be like that. I'm finna, you know, age don't matter. I'm finna get this money at a young age. So
what kind of what your parents doing though? They wasn't really doing no tripping.
What it was, I was raised by my grandmother them, my grandmother and my grandfather. My mom had me when she was only 16. So, to me, my mom was always like a sister to me, you know what I mean? And when I was out there doing that, my grandmother and grandfather didn't know till one day my auntie, my grandfather and grandfather, they had 12 kids. We had a big family, probably one of the biggest family in the hood. So, you know, all my uncles and stuff, like I said, they was kingpins in and out of jail and stuff like that. But anyway, one day my auntie called me on the $1 million block with some rocks in my hand, you know what I mean? I tried to throw them up under her car.
Oh man!
I tried to throw them up under her car, and she got out and picked them hoes up, you know what I mean? And put me in the car and took me to my grandfather. And I'll never forget that day. It was a concert later that day at the Summit. I think who was performing? People like Salt and Pepper them, and I think Mary J. Blige or something. So I really wanted to go to that concert, but just so happened I get caught with these rocks the same day, and she showed my grandfather what I was doing. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe it because my grandfather, he's in there holding these rocks in his hand like, man, I can't, what is you doing? You know what I mean? I'm like, man.
They think you just a regular kid.
Yeah,
And you out there getting it on.
I'm out there getting it on, man. And so from that point, you know, they
Because this is like prime crack era, man. So talk
this-
about
this
just
is
how
prime-
live, like,
this-
how it
this
was, how
prime
it was
crack
going
era,
down
this
like that.
prime crack era, and what brought me to that before that, you know, I was like, I had went to stay with my mom like 6th, 7th grade, and in A-Leaf, and there wasn't none of that kind of going on. But what I did get from A-Leaf, they had like the gang life, you know what I mean? So the gang mentality life. So it was just a group of friends though, but you know what I mean? It was kind of like gang life, and I kind of took that back with me to the hood when I came back to the Southeast, and I was hustling and all that. So that's kind of how like the whole botany thing come about, you know what I mean? But yeah, I moved back to the hood from with my mom. Them 6th, 7th grade. So this 8th grade year, I come to school and one of my friends from elementary, he's tearing up money. Well, first of all, I just see a big crowd of kids like a fight, because fights would always happen. I went to Woodson, and fights would always happen. So
Were
when
you
I
over
get
there with
there-
like Scarface at the time?
I wasn't with him because Scarface is older than me.
Okay.
But we all went to that same middle school. You know, I used to ride my bike up there to watch fights and stuff like that. So when I get there to school, I see a fight pretty much like one of the first days I'm there or something. But when I get to the middle of the crowd, I work my way to the crowd. I see my homeboy from elementary and one of my best friends from elementary. He's tearing up money. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, you know, I was getting 50 cents and $1 for lunch, you know, free lunch or whatever. And I'm like, how's you tearing up money? So he laced me in the game right there, you know what I mean? Like right after school, gave me $20, showed me what to do. I made $50, gave me his $20 right back. And I was hooked after that, you know what I mean?
So the first
that
day
was-
he tells you about it, the first day he put you on right there.
First
And
day.
it was that easy to just get off of it.
That easy. Gave me $20. I bought a flipper, cut $50.
That's how it went down.
Sold it on Botany.
That's
it
how
all
it went
happened
down
on
for
Botany
me.
too. You know what I mean?
It was
So
about them flipper things, man.
you know, and you know, from there I was just hooked on making quick and fast money at that point. But you know, I also knew that stuff like that. I was smart enough to know that doing something like that wouldn't last. You know what I mean? Because I already seen how all my uncles was in and out the pen and all this here. And my whole goal was I was gonna be a lawyer. You know what I mean? Because I was gonna be trying to get everybody out of trouble that was in trouble.
No
'Cause,
shit.
Yeah, my
C
whole
Note
goal
wanted to be a
was-
lawyer.
Man,
I was gonna
ain't
be a
know that
lawyer,
shit.
man. Yeah,
Niggas
I was
still
gonna go to
want
law
lawyer.
school and high school and all that.
Did
That
you
was
have like
my
good
goal.
grades and shit like in
Yeah,
school and all that?
A's and B's and yeah, good grades, everything. I definitely had the potential to do it,
So how
but
long
I got distracted right there. You know what I mean?
So how
I got
long
distracted.
between him putting you on and you getting like your first car and like all this type of money and all that type of shit?
Probably that same year. I got my first car. Probably that same year. By the end of the 8th grade year, I had a car. You know what I mean? I
What
had
kind
a
of car was it? Was your first
My
car?
first car was Slab. It was a Riviera. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
shit.
And yeah, and I put them. My homie DA, rest in peace, DA. He sold me my first set of swingers, 83s. You know what I mean? I bought them, put them in the rental car, the MPV van, to go slab them on my car, and caught a flat right here in Hiram Clark down the street. And you already know what Hiram Clark about, man. I'm like, damn, I caught a flat. I got a van full of swingers. You know what I mean? Somebody probably finna try to get me. I made that happen.
And you a
made it
kid.
home. Yeah, and I'm a kid. I was so little on the slab, looking like, man, I'm talking about I was little. Kid. We was kids riding slab. And so, you know, we just took that mentality. And basically, all the people that I grew up with from the $1 Million Block, what had happened was we branched off from that and kind of started what you call short stopping or something. Where you standing up the street, kind of, that was Southport Mexican doing. He was short stopping us. He was the only Mexican over there. But he was standing like way over there and short stopping that way. So we started short stopping from the other way, and we kept pushing our way back to we was on Botany Street. And D-Red, he always was on Botany though. D-Red, he was always on Botany. So we kind of just passed D-Red up and went all the way to the middle of the corner you know, and D-Red them let us have it down there because they was already on by now already, you know. But they was the OGs, you know what I mean? Because they like let them little niggas have it, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's how the whole.
But when you coming up though, like, how early do you meet like Willeen and like the other guys that become the Botany Boys?
As far as Willeen, actually everybody in the clique we already knew from childhood. Willeen stayed in Cloverland, so I had already knew him. We went to Law Elementary together. We went to school together, all that. So, you know, I had like been knowing him. But what had happened was uh, Willeen had moved out and stuff, and he wasn't around. So when it all jumped out, and I ran back into Willeen, I think my uncle was dating this auntie or something, right? So I I just offered him to come, you know, hang out and make money with us. So, and it's just all he's just been with us ever since from there. You know what I mean? He was already from Cloverland anyway. He stayed there. We, you know, went to elementary together. So it's basically like I was telling him, hey, come back, cause it's money to get. Come get this money, you know. So that's kind of how that went.
Okay, so who's the official Botany Boys? All the official members of the Botany Boys.
I would say Botany Boys, it's actually a lot of people outside the rap. You know what I mean? It's a lot of us outside the rap. It probably was anywhere from 12 to 15 of us outside the actual rap group.
So it was like a smaller, screwed up clique type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a whole lot. When you come down Botany Street, the street was, you know, like Crenshaw or something. It was just busy at all time and had all us hanging out on that street all day, every day. Police, running from police and whatever go on the block, yeah. Went on the block every day, all day, sun up to sundown. So that's kind of the way we grew up and the life we lived. But from there, what I did though, like I said, I got off the corner and I started taking my business out of town and stuff like that.
How old are you when you start going out of town?
Probably 15 or something.
No shit.
Yeah.
How far you going?
From Texas A&M all the way to the East Texas, Tyler and Longview. Got plenty of friends up there in East Texas. Yeah. So
how you 15 years old meeting people way over there? Ain't no social media. Ain't no, you know what I mean?
Ain't no nothing. Just I went streets, from man. Yeah. So yep. Somebody introduced me to
somebody
family
somebody.
member. Yeah, family member. Hey, I got family up here. And, you know, it was just all about you and your husband. If you're going to go out there and meet her, I just took the chance to go out there. And basically, I was trying to get 100,000 at 15 or something. That's what I was on. I'm finna get 100,000 right quick.
That was the goal.
What I mean? That was my goal. So, and I started all the way from, you know, an ounce or two and just kept on going every day. I was psyching my mind like I'm going to the north side of Houston, but I was going way out there, you know, and I'd go and come back every day.
So you ain't going to school no more at this point?
At this point, I wasn't going to school, but when school started, we would go a little bit, you know, and a little bit, just a little bit. A little bit. I was balancing between both, you know what I mean? I was going to school.
Where you supposed to be going?
But probably, most of it probably occurred in the summertime or something, you know what I mean?
You supposed to be going to Worthing or like, what's the school
I was
over
going, after Wilson, I went to Worthing. You know what I mean? I went to Worthing, and like I say, by the time I went to Worthing, I was already riding slab. And I had bought, actually, my first foreign car. I bought a Benz, a baby Benz, the Benz 190s back then. Because, you know, D-Red them had like BMWs and all this. D-Red them was looking so good. I'm studying
D-Red over there quiet, man. I'm going to get to D-Red in a minute, man, because I know
I was looking up to them, and, man, you know, so that's what kind of helped me motivate it. I knew I was, you know, what I had to do and needed to do at an early age, looking up to them.
Yeah, so D-Red, what you doing around this time?
Same thing. You know what I'm saying? It don't stop, you know, like you say, you know.
Burning it down in the club.
But we was doing, I'd be like, take all that shit back.
Club guard.
We was, you know, then we was just like you say, we was trying to get that money, man, you know what I'm saying? When you see like the old heads, OG niggas, they having money, man, I'm talking about, then they was pimping too, all that, you know what I'm saying? It was all about that dollar bill. And our hood, man, our hood was really, honestly, dangerous and notorious when we was coming up, man, you know what I'm saying? From really gang fights and all that, for real, you know? But when we was coming along, that whole era changed, you know what I'm saying? We started seeing that money, you know what I'm saying? It got green over there, you know, like Courtney told you, he told you. And it started from a flipper that turned into 20s, you You know what I'm saying? We got out the block early. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about we turned to the big boys early. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From small weight to them big boys. You know what I'm saying? So and then it just the more money you got, man, the more stuff you wanted to get. The more stuff you wanted to buy, you know what I'm saying? The more lavish you wanted to get. You wanted to live good. You wanted to dress nice. You wanted to do this here. So that image just came and came, and then you never look back on that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, for instance, just going back on our music career, man. We did so good to ourselves. We wasn't even really complaining about what was going on or the music promotion game. We did that ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Just from the streets, because people knew us from the streets. You know what I'm saying? We were like family. You mess with one, you mess with all. Wasn't no such thing as one-on-one. You know what I mean? So with that being said, we was like going out of town. I'm like, I want to go back on this music thing. Going back out of town, like Courtney tell you, that man, Courtney bought that big bourbon, man. That was our tour bus.
See, I was going
Chopped
out
on
of town.
Blaze,
I
you
was
know
going
what I'm
out
saying?
of
Wood
town
strip,
before
you know what I'm saying?
dudes knew what going out of town was. Everybody was just on the block in the city. But
Yeah.
I spreaded my wings a little bit, just so happened that
So we
I
like,
jumped out there a little bit ahead of some people.
and it's
ahead
like,
of my
man,
time.
we had cars, and during that time, we had about 20 cars following us out of town at a time on Blaze, man.
Doing the concerts
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
I
We
moved
definitely
forward.
traveled
You already
like
circling out about the
caravan
dot.
of people.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
just trying to let them know they some up like how we had our promo game on, because we really, it was already about a foot chase and how we were looking to get that, man. Because our first show we went out of town, Alexander, man, them people just heard about us. They ain't know not one word our song. But when we got there, I'm just talking about a house full of people. You know what I'm saying? They just bobbing, because they were like, they heard about who they was, what they
Yeah.
was doing. You know what I'm saying? How they doing, how they was moving. You know what I'm saying? And like he say, you go out of town, you gonna connect.
Yeah,
You know
our
what I'm
whole
saying?
image was based on street fame, basically from the jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how we help popularize the screw movement.
That's what I was
you
gonna
know
say. So
I mean?
how do y'all meet? At what point do you meet DJ Screw? How do you meet him?
The point I met DJ Screw, like I said, was probably around '92, and the way I met him was it was through s.u.c. Q Dog, who was Scarface, like one of his best friends or good friends or something.
Yeah.
But Q Dog had the slab. His brother Lil Toast, R.P. Lil Toast. Lil Toast had got killed, and he had the slab. So I was hanging around Q Dog a little bit, and one day Q Dog took me to Screw House, and he said we jamming at Screw, on Surround by Sound. He the first one with the pop trunk, Surround by Sound, all that, and we jamming at Screw music. Like, man, that's jamming, and the thing about it was slowed up, and I peeped real fast that it'll be easier for me to rap over some of the beats, you know what I mean? Because he played some instrumental. And I peeped real fast that, hey, I probably can, freestyle or rap over them beats like pretty easy because of the tempo and stuff. And I was already doing my little rap thing. We was on Botany doing our rap thing at another friend of mine, I was Big Al.
Big Al.
We had something called CBS, Cloverland Base Station.
Who's in this?
This was just all my older cousin and who I looked up to and, be following behind and stuff, my older cousin Kirby and, his friend Big Al and a couple of more of us, really just me, Kirby, and Big Al was like more into the music a lot because we was sitting in Big Al room. We had the whole room filled with records all on the wall. Every time somebody released something, we walk into the record store, getting it, studying every record, know every record front, back, side to side. So one day, Big Al, we actually recorded our first demo on like a house stereo, and somehow Big Al made it work, and we was like surprised. We was doing doubles and everything, So, and me and my cousin Kirby, after Big Al had laid down and rap and let us hear it, we was like, dang. So, sure enough, we went and got him we wrote a rap. My first rap was the 2 on Tour. Me and Kirby wrote the 2 on Tour, and we recorded it at Big Al house. So I kind of already had an idea, and I always wanted to be the rapper since, 88 or whatever. I had heard Eric B. and Rakim and
That's what made
everybody
you want
from
to.
New
Okay.
York.
Yeah.
Everybody from New York, all that Public Enemy, all of that made me want to rap. My mom, she was young, like I say, so she actually had the Cutlass back then with the just like the guys had the 4.6x9s in the back. My mama had the 4.6x9s in the back banging. You know what I mean? I'm banging. My cousin driving the car, I'm banging we banging Eric B. and Rakim, going to the fish market. You know, fish, which is my favorite dish. Without the money, it's still a
Yes,
wish.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm jamming that, and I was hooked on hip hop from that point. So, you know, I just was always trying to gravitate toward that. And like I say, and then I finally met Screw through Q Dog, and I asked Screw one day, like,
Where's
hey,
he at this time? He's in Quail Meadows still?
at this time when I met him, he was on Broadway.
Broadway, okay.
He was on Broadway, and that's when I first met him. And when I met him, he was staying with his dad, so he really couldn't go in the house and all that. So after going a few times and actually getting to know Screw a little bit, him riding on the slab with us and all that.
If you had to describe Screw personality at that time, what would you kind of say? If you was like, who was this guy, DJ Screw?
Screw, when I first met him, he was laid back, and he wasn't. He was laid back, humble, and he just, you know, he didn't have nothing at the time. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like from the ground up. It was real raw from the ground up. And he was working from his house when his dad went to work. That's when he got most of his work in and stuff. And we was finally able to get in there and record something, you know. And I had just kind of asked him had anybody ever did, you know. We was doing the freestyle thing. We wasn't rapping because we wasn't, from my understanding, we wasn't the first to actually rap on Screw. Just far as the freestyle thing go, all the fun part with, you know, with the era, with the screwed up era of love, you know, the freestyle side. I think we definitely were the first ones to bring that to the table. And yeah, and I kind of got that freestyle side of it, because like I say, I was writing rhymes too, but the freestyle side came from I had an OG partner. He was, you know, he was real flamboyant, OG Ant. And he would freestyle when I ride around with him. We smoking our weed, drinking 40s, and he'll just freestyle in the car. So that's why I kind of like picked up on the freestyler side and brought it to
How old are you
Screw.
at this time when you meet Screw?
It was in 92, so I was every bit of like 18, 17,
yeah.
18.
Yeah.
17,
So what you riding at this time? You riding slab or what you got?
By this time I switched. I'm in big body Lexus, the new Lexus when they first came out.
Man.
I had that when they first came out, and I also had a slab, a drop on switches. My drop, it was purple at the time. The first one, I had it purple. I call it blurple. Like, yeah, I mean, like a blackish purple, bluish purple or something. I call it blurple. And I had the white inside, all that. And I had the switches and swingers, though. I had put the hydraulics on there with the swingers. And I had the forward, you know, you had to come forward and the slab. So I just happened to have both of them, you know.
Are you seeing like Corey Blunt out there at this time? Like who all out there like really on the slab,
yeah,
like
definitely.
really holding around this
Most
time?
Most definitely saw Corey Blunt. Probably even before I got my slab, I seen Corey Blunt coming down MLK right before you get to the dead end in a yellow Benz. Probably the same one, 190, but his was freaked out to the T, like the most you can ever freak it out. A yellow spoiler kit, Lorenzo's. I'm talking about.
I heard about this being. This is the first time I'm hearing about the details.
Yes.
You can keep on going. Go ahead.
When you
Yeah.
see it, it look like, you know, somebody got some money driving that thing. So
And he young too at this time. Like
he had to be young, yeah. I think they all a little older than me because Fat Pat them, they all older than me.
Yeah.
You know, I was always like one of the youngest in the clique or something. So those guys was definitely a few years older than me every time. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's the first time I seen them in that Benz, and that was before I started seeing them riding slabs and all that. And then, of course, after that Benz, it came plenty of cars, different slabs. You had seen them have. He had the Park Avenue, I think. What else he had? I know he had the Drop L Dog. He had that old school Impala. He had put switches on there with the folds. And then the prettiest one that I seen after that, and which people don't know, you know, was he came down. I had the bourbon. We had like 2 bourbons. All right, when the bourbons came out, we had like 2.
We gotta talk about how legendary that bourbon is too, dog.
We had a couple bourbons, and I think this probably 9394.
You had the bourbon that early?
I think
When they came out?
we had a bourbon in like 93 at least, because we went to the 94 Freaknick in the bourbon.
Yeah.
And they thought we was Shaq or somebody. And we had the big long bourbon. We had a burgundy one. But so I would say, yeah, 94. Okay, and then 9-4, Corey Blunt came with the trophy truck, and they had the fade on there.
Step side.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
step side. I'm coming out of Hillwood and pulled on color, and I seen him finna go toward MLK, and that sun hitting this boy, and that boy was on them blades on the trophy truck, Blunt. And when Blunt did that, I was like, oh yeah, I got to get those rims. But we had got the idea coming, after talking to him and Pat, they had got the idea from the 8-Ball MJG album cover. They got the blades on there on the Lexus, on the drop Lexus. You know what I mean? Because we was on one from Tony Draper and them. So that's how the blades came about. You know what I mean? And Blunt was the first one to ride them besides them. JB them, what was that? JB with Draper and them. I guess they had that on. Yeah, them boys was always holding it too. But yeah, so I seen Blunt. Blunt just made it look different though. This shit was pretty. You know what I mean? That shit was beautiful. So and I had to go slap the blades on the bourbon. You know what I mean? Because he's step side, I'm bourbon, so I'm gonna do it a different way. I got the bourbon, put the blades on there. Let's see how that look. You know what I mean?
So y'all go down to Freaknick. Talk about that in the bourbon.
Oh, the Freaknick was the most exciting and legendary trip ever. It was 9-4. I had never been out of Texas. And DEA, Dead End, Ron G. We was Botany and DEA. He was like, man, let's go, to Atlanta, to the Freaknick. We gonna drive. All right, okay. And one of our homies, he had just did like a bunch of years in the pen, one of our OGs. He probably did about, 8 years, whatever. It was a long time. So he was fresh out. We picked him up. I think we about 6, 7, 8 deep. I got footage of the whole thing.
No
footage.
shit.
Yeah.
What is that?
We rolled. I got it in the cut. I put a little bit maybe on the internet. Some people seen it.
What you gonna do with that?
I'm gonna do something with it documentary wise. That's what I was trying to do. Put a little bit on there. But we rolled up 100 Swisher Sweets and went to Walgreens. They used to have the big, thick boxes of 50 Swisher Sweet Perfecto.
Oh, y'all putting
We bought
y'all
two
smoking
boxes.
Perfectos.
Perfecto. We bought 2 boxes of Perfecto. We rolled 100 sweets, and we had like 2 or 3 bottles of Hennessy. We had straps in the car.
Boom.
Everybody got money.
So y'all ain't sipping drink and all this at this time. The drink doesn't come around at this time.
At this time here, the drink was out. The drink was out, but we was still sipping. We still was drinking 40s a little bit, right? I wasn't big on 40s, but my homies was. I drank a little bit with them and Screw and some other homies. But for whatever reason, we had Hennessy. You know what I mean? We had Hennessy and shit. We had a couple other things. We made a stop in Lake Charles and got some money and kept going, right? And never got stopped or pulled over or nothing, man. And we flying, doing 80 or 100 miles per hour trying to get there and back. And we had the time of our life, man. We hit Exit Peachtree and all that downtown Atlanta, man. And it was a movie, you know what I mean? So we just had fun. We stayed at the top, the best hotel, it was a nice trip, man, there and back. What made it so good, we ain't never go to jail, get in trouble. It was just a smooth trip, you know what I mean? The whole thing. And I got it all documented. So one day I'll show the people.
So that was the only year y'all went down to Freaknick?
That was the only year, 9-4.
That
was the last year, huh?
Yep.
So
the
D-Red used to go to Jack the Rapper and all that.
Jack the Rapper.
Yeah, he used to go to Jack the Rapper.
Okay, talk about Jack the Rapper.
Yeah,
Jack the Rapper, it'll never be nothing like that.
Where was Jack the Rapper at?
You know,
in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, yeah.
I used to
It
hear
was
about
like right back. That Jack the Rapper would be that year, and then he come Freaknick. Man, them was the 2 livest years going to Atlanta for us right there. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of business. You met some of everybody. I even got footage and pictures with Tupac, but he got murked up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people on them pictures and stuff that you was with. They're like, Jack the Rapper was like you was trying to get a real record deal. You know what I'm saying? It was a big old convention, man.
Yeah.
And you used to go by there. I mean, even from Boys and Men and Shy and all them people got the major deals. Man, you used to walk down the highway. You walk in the bathroom.
See everybody.
They blowing in the bathroom so people can hear them because in the bathroom it's like a hall. And it puts reverbs and all this stuff on your voices. And you hear A&R people and people just walk in and say, y'all seen that again? They telling you to come meet them in their room or come to their little booth or whatever, man. People really got deals out there, you know what I'm saying? But it's it was fun, man, and it
Yeah.
was business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It
big
was more
big
fun
music
and
convention,
big
right?
old music
Yeah.
convention, man. And there's nothing ever like that right now no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all that went away. I think that same year that
After
Jack the
Freaknick.
Rapper probably went away. What, the year before Freaknick in '93?
After Freaknick.
After Freaknick?
Freaknick was the next year always.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So, yeah.
saying. So Jack the Rapper wasn't no more after
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 Freaknick,
Freaknick. It wasn't
after
no
no
more.
Jack
So
the
it
Rapper.
had to end in '93
Yep.
at least.
They both stopped.
Yeah,
That
they
was their
both
last
stopped.
round. They
Yeah.
tried to bring it to Houston, remember?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah.
Downtown.
Yeah. Okay, so man, so talk about y'all meet Screw. Talk about how it was when you went and did your first freestyle. When you actually went and did it.
When I actually went and did my first freestyle,
Because you thinking it's slow, but it's not slow when you get over there, right?
actually, I think I rapped on the slow beat. If I ain't mistaken, I heard people say that he didn't record it slow or something. I can't say I always remember, but I would think that the tempo had to be slow. From what I remember, the tempo was slow, and then he also slowed it down again. You know what I mean? He slowed it down again so he can slow our voice and everything down. You know what I mean? 'Cause Screw had a bunch of tape decks working by that time. So, but that was on Greenstone. But in Broadway, he didn't have all that equipment like on Greenstone. But
So you did your freestyle on Greenstone or in Broadway?
on Broadway.
Okay.
I did my first freestyle on Broadway, and this before the reason he moved to Greenstone because he started getting so much traffic. His daddy was tired of this shit. You know what I mean? So he had to hustle up enough money to move out, and him and Nikki was staying there with him, and him and Nikki moved to the house on Greenstone. And that's when it was like wide open after that. Once he moved to Greenstone, that's when it was wide open. Everybody, me, the Fat Pats and them, and everybody, Kiki and them, and
Do you know
Third
any of them
Ward,
before they get over there?
who that?
Do you know like Fat Pat or Kiki, any of them before y'all all get over the Screw House?
Yes, I knew Fat Pat before because Fat Pat from Kennedy Heights and I'm from Cloverland. It's like colors separate the hood, so it's like right across the street. So growing up, I seen Fat Pat. I met him. The first time I met Fat Pat, it's a funny story. Him and my homeboy, Botany, they had a fight. You know what I mean? Him and my homeboy had a fight. And it was over a girl, and it happened at a girl house. And Blunt was there too. So Pat came over. I'm standing on Botany by myself at the time. And Pat pulled up in the Cadillac on swing or slab, shotgun in the back or whatever. He telling me about, I think he had to shoot at somebody right here. What's the store? Green something in right behind Madison. They used to call that store something. I forgot the name
Waddell's?
of it. Green. It wasn't Waddell's. I don't know.
Right behind Madison.
Right behind Madison. It's called Green something. I can't remember the name off top. But whatever. I guess he had. I don't know if he had to shoot at somebody or what. So he was just real cool. We chopping it up, and he basically was saying that he wanted to squash that when him and my partner had to fight about it. You know what I mean? They squashed it, and from there I just knew he was a cool dude. And,
If you had to describe Fat Pat, like how would you describe Fat Pat?
man, the coolest, flyest, funniest, the coolest dude you want to meet, man. I'm talking about cool, good soul, good spirit. And he actually, the first one, started calling me C-Note. That's how I got the name C-Note. Because I was going about Lil C, you know what I mean? I was just Lil C. I had the Lil C in my seats, in my slab and stuff, But when I seen him at the store in Kennedy Heights, I guess I had a wad of money or something, and $100 bills or something. He was like, man, you always got some money on me, man. I'm starting calling you C-Note. He was just fly like that, though. So I had never heard it before. So I was like, okay, C-Note. So I just kind of took it and ran with it when I.
Now you the second person to say they got their name from Fat Pat. That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely got my name from Fat Pat. I remember the exact place at the corner store, and he called me. He started calling me that because I pulled out the wad of money for whatever reason. I don't know why I had the wad of money, but he saw it and told me, hey man, I'm sorry, calling you C-Note. You C-Note. You know what I mean? So, and I just kind of took it and ran with that, with the music and all that. You know what I mean? So, we start, like I say, we start freestyling that Screw and all that. And I think Fat Pat, I actually asked Screw, had anybody did it. Now, at the time, Screw told me that Fat Pat had came over there and did something, So I was like, okay. But keep in mind, they all personal tapes. So I wouldn't hear what Fat Pat done, and he wouldn't hear what I done. So we would never know, until we hanging around each other and let it hit our flow, which happened later on, we start knowing that. So, I would say me and Fat Pat was some of the first, definitely the first one to be freestyling on that like that. You know what I mean? I definitely like to give him some credit on that too.
Yeah. So you, Fat Pat, who else was like over there real early? Of course, Al D, because that's his brother.
Al D, he was a real rapper, dropping real albums, and like you say, he was on tour with 8 Ball them, or he's a real rapper. You know what I mean? So Al D was he was rapping with Screw. They had a rap group, but the whole freestyle, that's different. You know what I mean? It's different from just the regular rapping, and the freestyle era is just a different thing and a different vibe. You know what I mean? So Al D was definitely like, the first one rapping with Screw on there, and like I say, and we was the first with the freestyle stuff. You know what I mean?
Man.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, after a while, though, I mean, what's the thing when you like, man, let's just go ahead and just do an album, man?
Oh, so
Because y'all got out of there pretty early. It ain't just a whole lot of just,
you peeped that? Did you peep that? You peeped that?
I ain't we gonna go back on that note we was talking about earlier. We was like in the hood really, really getting it. And I remember when them was in the circle at the big house. We called it the big house over there. So I left them around off of Botany somewhere, hollering one of the OGs, and just went holler at C. They had already been on some crunk shit, you know what I'm saying, rapping freestyle. We like, C, man, fuck this, you know what I'm saying, nigga? Let's go and start our own group. You know what I mean? Shit, man, Say No More was so fast, we see the next day, or it might have been that night. When it was, next day that night?
I don't know.
We was at the house recording on that new thing he just said he just bought.
Yep.
And I think we did like 5 tracks, but we got one and went in and did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
After that, the rest was history, man.
So you said Smoking and Leaning was the first one?
Yeah, Smoking and Leaning was the first song we really finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was what made me like go, like you say, on our own and just branch out on our own and really, because my whole goal was to, be a real rapper like 3-2 and Big Mello then was, with the Rap-A-Lot thing. So I knew, we had to get an album on the shelf, you know what I mean, in order to do that. And that was my whole goal, and it kind of just went with the flow after we made the beats and kind of just learning our way as we go, you know what I mean? Next thing you know, we in the studio recording, and next thing you know, we making we had Penny Pictures trying to get our first album cover, but ended up doing it with Black Cat.
You were talking about 3-2 and Big Mello, so talk about how you even meet them two.
How I met them was actually through the same people. We was around the S.A. Fools, Q Dog them, and Scarface them friend. And, all them was gravitating toward, they was hanging out in South Acres with Scarface and his people. So that's kind of how I met 3-2 and Big Mello them, because they was right there with them too. They was around Scarface, you know what I mean? So them was all the people I was looking up to. And I already know we wasn't signed to Rap-A-Lot or gonna sign to them. So I knew we had to make our own path, our own way, and just, do it as we go. We didn't know what we was doing. We just having fun with it, basically, and doing it, you know what I mean?
Like I say, when I ran around and seen them, I knew they was rapping and doing their thing, but I was already on the road.
Yeah, he was already living the rap.
Seeing what it was, seeing the techniques, just with my homeboy Poopy, he gave me the game. Production side, everything. I was just riding the path on that and seeing, the ins and the do's and the don'ts of how you promote your record, how you get out here and do this record, how you going to do your bars, you know what I'm saying? How you get everything in sync and tech and all that. So it was like,
because you taught us all that, if I ain't mistaken. You taught us all that.
I knew when we went over there, like you said, we wasn't looking forward to do that. We was trying to do some change in our life, you know what I'm saying, what we had going on, you know what I'm saying? So
y'all was looking to get out the game.
Yeah, exactly. We already know it wasn't going to last forever. Yeah. And you was looking to get out the game, man. So 9-4, we was basically recording in 9-4. Probably when we came from the Freaknick, we probably started all that, because, we had the Freaknick, Outkast them gave us their album, and, it was like Jack the Rapper / Freaknick and all that. So
we had dropped 9-5,
Yeah, we dropped in 9-5, so we had to be recording in 9-4. You
right
know
after
what I mean?
that, yeah.
So, so we just went with the flow, and like I say, I know the Screw was making a bunch of money off the mixtapes, you know what I mean? But the money is going all to Screw, you know what I mean? I wasn't getting none of that money, and we definitely helped popularize him. You know what I mean? But I wasn't getting that money. That money was rightfully his. So in order
Mm-hmm.
for me to get some money, I need to drop a CD on my own and put it on the shelf and make money that way. I realized that real quick. You know what I mean? So that's what ended up happening. We dropped the album,
Okay,
but
but who is okay? Who's the roster on the Botany Boys? The
okay,
rapper roster.
okay, bam. The rappers was the roster was me, D Red, Willeen, Head, and Big Dez. It was five of us, right? It was five of us when we started off.
Talk about Head and Big Diz because I don't really
All
know.
right.
I don't know a whole
So
lot
so
about
the
them.
reason a lot of people don't know about Head and Big Dez is because after 9/5, a lot of things transpired where they stayed incarcerated most of the time. Like most of the time, I was thinking we probably had like a good 5 year run from 9/5 to 2000. We changed Houston for what it was to the screwed up era.
Yeah.
Definitely when we dropped our first tape. And it expired, everybody that dropped their first tape, Kiki and everybody, and pat them to do their album. We
We was
inspired
first.
all them to do that. But yeah, it was so from that time, those guys, Head and Dez, 9/7, Dez caught a Fed case, and Head had got incarcerated somewhat after that. So basically, I was trying to run the whole company and everything with, 50% of the group in jail. You know what I mean? And that was and that's kind of what led to my solo album, Third Coast Born, too, because 50% of my group in jail. When we dropped Out of Many Ways, you know, they in jail, you know what I mean? And it's only me, Willeen, and D-Red to carry the torch, you know what I mean? So it was definitely a challenge, you know what I mean? But I think I made the best of the situation, you know what I mean, with what we had to work with. But that was the main thing, though. 50% of our group
It was rough,
stayed
man.
incarcerated, you know
It
what I
was
mean?
rough,
So we
man.
never got our full potential like we really, really could, you know what I
It's
mean?
like it happened at our peak. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm talking about we was out there. First, we first came out the South, really make some noise. Made, like you say, made the South do what it do. With a double city. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? We was on a whole nother level, man. Just like that trouble, just, you know what I'm saying? Boy was incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? It was just in you, man. When you from the mud, man, you just from the mud, bro. You know you can do. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you to make one of your change. So, like C say, man, we got 50% of our
Of the group,
partners in the
yeah.
group and it's locked up. I'm talking about we kind of not really lost, but we can't really. It got to a point that we couldn't even go do shows because everybody wasn't there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Really couldn't go do recording, which we could when people call for features or something, or probably want to buy tracks or want to do that. We got kind of like a little discouraged, but not discouraged just because our homies was gone. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
we got through it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Started making some moves. You know what I'm saying? Kept it going.
Yeah,
And the
kept
name
it
still
going,
riding,
kept it
you know what I
going.
mean?
Most definitely kept it going. Cause I could have, this always been like a dream of mine to become a rapper or whatever, right? So I could have easily came out and tried to drop my album first, you know what I mean? But I'm like, I'm rolling with the clique. I want the clique, everybody to come with us. So that's what that was about. We dropped the whole group album, you know what I mean? Instead of just trying to drop a solo album or something like that. Put myself out there. Now we dropping the whole group, everybody, and from there, everybody in the group, the plans was everybody in the group was gonna be able to drop their individual albums too, solo. You know what I mean? Like I probably was the first one, but it was supposed to be followed up by all the other members. Willeen supposed to have his, D Red dropped his, but all the other members that was incarcerated, they supposed to have their own album too. This was all the plan,
That was the
but
plan.
by them getting incarcerated, you never know how life go. You can't.
Boomerang.
You never know how you just gotta go with the flow once something happens. You know what I mean? That's out of your hand. So that's pretty much what happened. Yeah, that's kind of that's why a lot of people, wondering who the other members are and all that. That's what it was. They was pretty much incarcerated
What
like
happened?
most
What
of the
it
time.
is? What it
The
is?
whole
What it is?
the whole career.
We got 100 stories out here. You don't even know the truth, man. Because we really wasn't the type to sit back and talk about all our business and all our problems out there. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people don't know.
Yeah,
They
real
don't never
talk.
know. They don't get the facts unless we want you to know. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
Yeah. So talk about so they incarcerated, but at the same time, y'all still got like the Botany BGs though.
All right, yeah, we got Botany BGs. They come about, they incarcerate. So that's kind of how the Botany BGs come about. You know what I mean? I'm working with what I got around me. It's all I'm trying to mastermind it all and keep it all going. Botany BGs was Gator and and Third now. They wasn't never Botany Boyz. They was always younger than us. Third was even younger than Gator. You know what I mean? Gator 3 years behind me, and he younger than Gator. So he never like hung around us and to the point where he was actually in our circle like that, like that. He was in our circle family wise, you know, of course, but he was too young to hang with us and experience all that. So it was actually his big brother and him and all that, you know what I mean? But Botany BGs, yeah, that was another route we had. We was gonna drop an album with them. Then that went crazy too, you know what I mean? My little cousin Gator passed away. He died. You know
Oh, so
what I
Gator
mean?
was your cousin.
Gator was my first cousin, just like my little brother or something. So, you know, we grew up and enjoyed that rap thing. We would do the same thing, listen to raps, buy all the new raps, you know, because his daddy was my uncle, and he was one of the people I was saying he was like a kingpin back then, or he was. And so, you know, they had plenty of money and was doing it. And they took me in a year or two, and, you know, and me and Gator got real close, you know what I mean? So it was only right for me to bring him in too, you know what I mean? Once things kind of jumped off a little bit in the path that I was going with things. So,
But
and that's
before I
pretty
let
much
talk about y'all relationship with UGK, man, because it seemed like y'all had a kind of real, or especially Pimp, because he would call you Courtney. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Man, that
Pimp,
boy used to be out
R.I.P.
every
man.
club.
R.I.P.
Pimp was wild, man.
Pimp,
He was wild.
Pimp he's a real dude. When I met him through the music, I'm not sure exactly where I met Pimp
Right
first.
with that, who they
but I
signed
know-
with Jive around that time, huh?
Yeah, but
So you didn't meet them as a group. You just met Pimp C.
I probably met both of them. That's why I say it's kind of faint. I'm trying to make it think maybe I met him at Screw House. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, me and Bun B was closer than Pimp C. You know what I mean? And Bun B kind of, I guess, introduced me to. I would say I think he introduced me to Pimp C, and that's how I was able to get on their albums and all that, and get on 3 in the morning or the Riding Dirty album. And so I met them, and you know I always looked up to them since we jamming Short Texas on Botany and Pocket Full of Stones. So you know I'm looking up to these boys. So you know but they took to us. I guess they knew who we was and what we was doing in the Screw era. They liked it that too. So we kind of just took to each other, and like I say, me and Bun got a little closer because I stayed in A-Leaf at the time. And Bun them had a spot called the Manger in A-Leaf, and it was him and the Middle Fingers. And I would go by the Manger and kick it with him, you know, smoke big and chop it up. So we got kind of real cool like that. Been on the Middle Fingers album, and you know what I mean, just messing with they whole crew, and that's kind of how I end up on like just the UGKs and stuff like that. I remember one day me and Pimp C rode into Bourbon to the north side to Dear Trinity Garden Studio. I had to do a feature on his album, on his album. I did a song, and Pimp C was with me while I recorded the verse, everything. You know, we just rolling like homies, man. It was raw and authentic, wasn't no faking and shaking, man. You know, Pimp, man, is a real dude, man. So, yeah, I missed the Pimp, man. But our relationship kind of started like that. Just raw. And one more thing. The Cuz. I was selling Cuz at the time, which, was like Dro. You know what I mean? Like a step up. Everybody had the regular weed. And I came with the Cuz. It was weed from Arizona. And it was just like Dro. And
it was called Cuz?
It was called Cuz. That's why if you listen to it, we talking about that Cuz and we smoking on that Cuz. And it's like Cuz we talking about it's kinfolk, it's the endo, it's close to the endo, it's the cousin or something, you know what I mean? So that's how we came with the name. We smoking Cuz, and Pimp C them loved the Cuz, they smoked the Cuz, and so that's how we really became.
So you still hustling while y'all rapping?
No, at this time I actually stopped hustling. And I credit that to I credit that to this man right here, D Red, because D Red went through something. Then he stopped hustling.
Like, you got into some trouble, or what happened?
He got into some personal stuff. I don't know if he wanted to go, but whatever it was, he stopped hustling. I always admired that about him. He stopped hustling and gave his all to the music. So I followed in that footstep from all the way from the late '90s. I had quit from like '97 to 2000 and something. I was just
crazy,
like
man,
I'm chipping. You know what I mean? I made a sacrifice.
And they would sit back real nice though, you know what I'm saying? But it just like, I mean, I don't care how gangster you is, man, how hard you is, how that motherfucker look up to you in your hood or whatever, man. When you go through a pad and you see them taps on your shoulder 3 times and you miss them, and you keep missing them, and you keep missing them, you ain't gonna keep missing them, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how much money you got to go get these lawyers, because you got to pay to stay. You know what I'm saying? That was our rule. You got to pay to stay. 2-3 times, they gonna get you at home, man. You know what I'm saying? You get to paying these lawyers back then $20,000 and $30,000 to stay out of trouble, man. You know, you're gonna kind of learn, and then from no bullshit though. You could be a good dude when you ain't out here jacking and robbing for your money, but you helping the world, you helping your hood, you putting everybody on, you getting money and putting everybody on, and then you got these niggas out here still trying to look at you and try to get at you.
You food,
So,
like you food, yeah,
really,
yeah.
No bullshit. A nigga tried to get at me. You know what I'm saying? I don't even supposed to be here right now. Straight up. I seen a bullet in the dash, man. I looked at it myself. I slipped up and put a nigga that I trust in the back seat of me. You know what I'm saying? And I never did that shit again when I was there doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? So after that, I started looking at life a little better, you know what I'm saying? A little different, you know what I'm saying? And my homies and shit, you know what I'm saying? I can't preach that to them because, you know what I'm saying? I did the shit, you know what I mean? I looked at life a whole different after that, because then again, me and Courtney tell you, man, shit, we was on the road fucking, what? Shit, every weekend at least for sure. We was doing Muka shows a month. We was getting bread.
So y'all getting rap money?
Oh, we was getting that money.
Yeah, we was getting rap money off doing shows and stuff like that.
The hustle had to go on the road with us.
Yeah, exactly. We ain't have time. We got busy after 9.5, 9.6. We dropped our first one in 9.7. It was just, we stayed busy doing shows and concerts and all that. So definitely we was doing no more hustling. We wasn't doing no more hustling. It was just all about the music, a sacrifice, you know what I mean?
Talk about when y'all did the So Real remix, man.
Oh, the
Niggas
So Real
be looking
remix?
for more bourbon, no them choppers.
When we did that, we recorded that at the same place in Katy, Texas, at Skip Holman Studios. The same place that we had did the UGK. Well, we talking on UGK intro to 3 in the morning, all right? We did that at the same place. And DJ DMD was from Port Arthur like them, so I think he got wind or knew of the Screwed Up Click and all that, and wanted to have that same vibe and same feel, because him and Pimp C was close. So, we was hot at the time. Everybody wanted a piece of what's hot. So he called us over there, and then, I was out there with Fat Pat, Mike D, Kiki, Screw, we all rode out there. We out there. It's like he had a studio in the mansion or something. So it was like a real player vibe. We all out there, and quality, top-notch studio, and we recorded that freestyle. But the main thing I remember was
it a freestyle or y'all wrote that?
It was actually freestyle.
Everybody freestyle.
Everybody freestyle, but if you listen to it, Kiki and them, they used to write sometimes. He'll spit what he wrote, you know what I mean? So, but my thing was, you listen to Fat Pat, it was all freestyle. Fat Pat never wrote because he barely knew how to write. Hawk had to teach him how to write. So all this shit was freestyle. So we kept it freestyle. Kiki verse, probably was a rhyme that he already had wrote or whatever. But what I was telling them, they was giving DJ DMD a pot of gold. They kept on rapping and rapping and rapping. I say, man, don't give him all that shit, man. Y'all is tripping. Quit. That's enough. Quit. We done. Let's go. So, shit, out of that, DMD ended up with 2 hit songs, I think. That and something, you know what I mean? You hear 2 different versions. You hear the freestyle, and then you hear the regular rap version, that they played on the radio. Mm-hmm. And that was all because they kept giving them verses. Oh, no. Let me go back and do this. You know what I mean? Because we really having fun and excited to be in the studio. You know what I mean? We ain't at Screwhouse now. We in the studio, a real studio. So, we having fun with it, feeling like real rappers. So I can understand how they got carried away. But in my head, I'm thinking like, nah, y'all giving these boys too much game right then, Because I think the only way I knew that, because we was already recording too, you know what I mean? I had a little studio experience. So I kind of knew, and DJ DMD was keeping all that. I wouldn't be surprised if DMD got more Fat Pat and Kiki rapping, Yeah, because that's how much they was spitting. You know what I mean? It wasn't one take. If it's one take, Fat Pat like, hey, let me do it again. Say something else.
That's
And
one
I think
freestyle.
yeah,
You got another
exactly,
freestyle. You got-
exactly. So he
Yeah,
only
half
put out
EP
one
album, boy.
freestyle. So I know it's more there. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was definitely a nice experience. And like I say, Fat Pat and all the legends was there. Screw. So it's definitely something I remember for the rest of my life for sure.
Yeah.